Peace, Black people. Welcome to your Mama's World. With Jelly Moose's Cafe, we are our ancestors. I am your hostess, your Mama, and it's good to be Black in the land of the living once again. It's a cool evening here in the Hampton Roads area. It's been a week. Lord knows it has been a week, but I am glad to be Black again in the land of the living. All right, so we're rolling along with the craziness that is going on. This stuff is absolutely crazy. So we've gotten through the initial shock, but the aftermath that is going on is just bananas. My God, within a week's time, it only took them a week's time to declare almost a national holiday. My God, it took Coretta Scott King, almost 30 years to get a holiday for Dr. King. But, well, we live in good old America, so we know how that goes. So we know that in the last few days that Jimmy Kimmel has lost his job. And, they took him off the air from the Jimmy Kimmel show and late night show. And I was probably almost as surprised to see how many Black women supported him and was absolutely wrecked after this happened, as I was of Black people that were absolutely wrecked at what happened the week before. I'm not sure why. I am really, I am kabaffled. And that's a new word that I made up, kabaffled, because I'm concerned and I'm also baffled. So immediately following them firing Jimmy Kimmel, Black people, a lot of Black women put on their capes and decided to, go to bat for Jimmy Kimmel. Now, I don't wish that the man loses his job. I hope he gets it back. I don't care one way or the other, really. I hope he gets it back, and I hope he doesn't have to grovel the way Nick Cannon had to do before. But I guess my kabaffleness comes into play where there were so many Black women who decided to cancel their Disney Plus and Hulu and Paramount Plus, and some white women too. But I wasn't, I figured they would go to bat for, a white man. But they decided to cancel their Hulu and their Disney Plus and their Paramount Plus until they give this white man back his job. And I didn't see that type of come to Jesus or, super women when Colin Kaepernick was fired from the NFL. Now, I know a lot of people said that they were going to boycott the NFL if they didn't hire Cap back. And I think that boycott lasted until about noon on Sunday. Is that when the game started, around 12 noon? I think it lasted until about noon on Sunday. And then they kind of realized, you know what? Even if I watch it or don't watch it, Cap still ain't going to get his job back. So I may as well watch it, And I just want to say that we have to be strategic when we as Black people boycott certain places. And it's very hard to boycott in this country because we don't own anything. And because we don't own anything, the businesses that are owned by others employ us. So unfortunately, and it's very unfortunate, that when we boycott, we are in turn boycotting us. We're boycotting us. So I'm not canceling my subscription I don't have Disney Plus, so I don't have to worry about canceling that. I'm not canceling my subscription to Hulu because Hulu has a lot of content that is directed to and made for African Americans. There are quite a few Hulu original series and shows that are directed to African Americans, featuring mostly an all African American cast. So if I pull my money from Hulu, then I'm pulling my viewership from shows that feature Black people. See, back in the past, our ancestors could boycott white establishment because we didn't have anybody working there. And that was one of the reasons why they boycotted them. They weren't taking money out of Black people's pockets because they didn't have Black people working there. And what happened was, after the boycotts, and they saw that, hey, you know what? If we don't hire some Black people, we're not going to make any money. And so they started to gradually hire Black people. But the thing is, we stopped the boycotting there, and we should have continued. We should have continued because we should have made sure that even though you've hired them, are they safe? Are they making a livable wage? Because if not, we're going to go back to boycotting you again. But all we had to see was a Black face. But nowadays, in 2025, most corporations employ Black people, especially Hollywood. Black people saved Hollywood. And so when you boycott these streaming services, again, you're boycotting a lot of services that actually, put Black content on those streaming services. I hadn't seen y'all boycott Netflix when, Monique was having a controversy with Netflix. Y'all ain't boycott Netflix. Again, y'all didn't boycott the NFL when they fired Colin Kaepernick. Y'all ain't boycott MSNBC when they fired Joy Reid. Y'all ain't boycott CNN when they fired Don Lemon. Y'all haven't even boycotted the corporations, if you even know, that fired over 300,000 Black women in the last 5.5 months. And I can't believe that them firing Jimmy Kimmel was the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to boycotting Hulu and Disney. Especially Disney. Disney's been raised to the cis light for a long time. But that didn't bother you until they fired a white man. We have selective outrage. And from what I understand, that Disney has lost $4 billion overnight because so many people are, saying that, oh, well, I'm boycotting them and I'm going to send my money to PBS. Well, I would think that when Humpty Dumpty in the White House talked about, taking PBS off the air or whatever, that maybe you would have boycotted or protested or something at that moment. And so my question to you is this: if they decide to work out a deal with Jimmy Kimmel and they put him back on, even though there is some fashiggities with this, especially with Disney Plus. If you haven't seen the documentary on Netflix called The Lion's Share, they're definitely not gonna put it on Hulu. But if you haven't seen the Netflix documentary called The Lion's Share, where Disney really ripped this Black family off of their song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," and you don't understand how raised to the cis Disney has been. And if you go back to Disney knowing that it is raised to the cis light, if they decide to give Jimmy his job back, then who are you really for? Who are you really fighting for? Them or us? We have selective outrage. We really do. I have never seen so many people come together so fast to cancel their subscription. And then they just put on the news on Friday where they were talking about at a lot of different parks and recreation places and museums. Of course, they're taking Black history away. One particularly in West Virginia that they saying you can't say anything about Black history at that particular museum. But I didn't see anybody Black saying that they were going to boycott these museums. And if they had memberships, that they were going to cancel their memberships to these museums, because museums have memberships. But I didn't see anybody saying they're going to cancel their memberships to these museums. Again, selective outrage. Now, again, if Jimmy gets his job back, if he gets it back, good for him. If he doesn't, okay, well, he'll be okay. I promise you, Jimmy will be fine. I didn't see this selective outrage. I didn't see this outrage for Stephen Colbert. He lost his job too. Come March, he ain't gonna have one. Ain't nobody gonna protest CBS. We protesting ABC, but not CBS. Yeah, yeah. And just to close with this, Jimmy Fallon was afraid to say anything. He clammed up like a biatch about talking about it, like he didn't know what the hell was going on. Jimmy Fallon got in some trouble a few years ago, and Black people seem to love him to life. But Jimmy Fallon did blackface a few years ago. He apologized for it, and he tries, I guess, to make amends by putting a lot of Black people on his show. But Jimmy Kimmel also did blackface a few years ago. He came out like Karl Malone and basically did a blackface shtick. But that's okay, right? It's okay. So, all right, that's all I got. I see who we boycotting next week. I don't know, but I ain't giving up my Hulu because it has a lot of Black content on there, content that I like to watch, and I'm not going to take viewership away from those Black creatives because Jimmy Kimmel lost his job. I'm not, because if the ratings go down enough for Hulu, Disney, I'm not too concerned about, but Hulu, the first shows that they're going to get rid of are going to be the Black shows. And then when you get Hulu back, because they give Jimmy let me tell you how this is how white people work. Y'all Black women can get on there if you want to and say, you know what, I'm boycotting Hulu, blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as Jimmy get his job back because of some compromise that he does with them, and you say, oh, I'm gonna get Hulu back. They will say, well, you know what, you can get Hulu back, but you ain't gonna see no Black faces on here. They've been playing this game a lot longer than we have. A lot longer than we have. Not just in this country, but in every country. So I'm just saying, don't be so selective. If you're gonna boycott everything. Boycott everybody. All right, so that's it. You know the drill. Love yourself, love each other, give yourself some grace and give each other some grace. We are our ancestors. Honor the ancestors, and they will honor you. And one more that I just thought of, this came to mind. When Kyrie Irving had his controversy with Amazon, did we boycott Amazon? I'm just asking. Did we? When the Asian salons were treating Black people harshly, did we boycott them? Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, I'm out of here. You guys be blessed. Until next time. Peace, family.